Hi, everybody. It's Jeremy from the fundraiser, which you've donated to, hopefully. So as you know, I am running I guess it's the fourth fundraiser that I've ever run for my friend Sultan, who is an LGBT refugee and also a refugee from the civil war in Yemen. Today, I'm not going to get into the conflict in Yemen or why it's really difficult to live as a person who identifies as a member of the LGBTQ plus community in Yemen or in East Africa, where Sultan is a refugee. What I wanted to do is show you how the fundraiser is going. And I'm going to have to turn a little bit this way, if you don't mind, because my camera is here, but my computer is actually right here. So if you don't mind, you're going to see me from a half profile. What I'm going to do is actually share the screen with you. So hopefully this works really well. Let's see. So we're going to go straight to the fundraiser. So here it is. This is how it looks when I see it. So I'm logged in as myself in my own fundraiser, but I'm actually showing you the public side of it because the private side of it actually has some things that are like personal information of donors. So I'm obviously not going to be sharing that on the internet. So here is the fundraiser, although the thumbnail is in very poor definition because it's recorded off of Zoom and Sultan is in Kenya where the internet, at least where he is very spotty. So we have here some of the donors. Um, we did raise $786 from our $1,200 goal, but I have to put a caveat on that. So if I see all the donations, what has actually happened in a way is that I was running this fundraiser since 13 months ago. So in the beginning, a lot of people donated, but what I've noticed is that in the last few days, so 16 days ago when I restarted the fundraiser, the donations have not come as quickly. And I think that's partially my fault, and I'll explain why. So I guess what happens is, yeah, you log in and you see, wow, they've already raised this much money. It's a lot. I guess I don't need to give anything to get to the goal. So I probably should have just made a completely new fundraiser, but I felt it was more honest to show people that instead of just like keeping, instead of making new fundraisers all the time, I just thought, let me update this one internally. And that's what I did. Um, that's fine, but I think as a tactic to raise money for Sultan, that wasn't necessarily the best decision on my end. So I admit that I'm not a professional fundraiser, obviously. Okay, so there's that. I think I should have probably done what most people do, and that's just start a whole new fundraiser. But I'm really happy for the donations we have gotten. So thank you very much to all. And a lot of people obviously are anonymous. So if you're anonymous, I'm not going to show your name, but I can see who you are. So you know who you are. I know you know who you are. You know I know who you are, blah, blah. Okay, so thank you so much for the donors. It's really, really appreciated. I will be donating some of my own money, I guess, when I get paid. So in 10 days. Okay, so the other thing is that I've named the video at the top solar panels for Sultan. And some people ask me, what are you talking about solar panels? You mean those big solar panels that cost thousands of dollars that you put on the roof? No. So I wanted to make that clear that we're not raising money for big solar panels. That would be a waste of money, especially since the goal is for Sultan not to stay in the refugee camp. So the solar panels that are actually going to be used are, I'm going to see if I can miniature solar panels for camping, something like that. Okay. So these are the kinds of solar panels that I want for Sultan. These are actually higher priced than the ones Sultan wants to get because these are for like Western backpackers. But basically, these kinds of solar panels would be placed, yes, probably on the roof during the day when Sultan has actual somewhat security because he can watch what's going on, but they wouldn't be the kinds of solar panels people put on their house. And these can power everything from, like, here's some examples like fans, lamps, pumps, garden lights. I mean, these are for people who have houses. So for Sultan who lives in like literally, well, I should just show you that in a second, but who lives in a not so good condition or place, these are going to be used to power, for example, the phone charger, like is shown here, or to heat water, to boil water, so he can actually drink water instead of water with lots of chemical additives that kill the germs. You can kill the germs by boiling water, obviously. There were other things we discussed during the video. Oh yeah, um, electrified mosquito nets. And I'll show you what those look like. Electrified mosquito nets. So electrified mosquito nets actually, now this is a really fancy version, but oftentimes there are more like something you put over the window. So if mosquitoes come through, they get killed. But there are actually, now I can't, okay, this is what I was thinking about. There are small ones you would place over your window. So you can actually just open the screen if you really want more fresh air during the day. But at night when mosquitoes are a really big problem, the mosquitoes will get killed just by touching the net. And mosquitoes are attracted to carbon dioxide, which we expel from our lungs when we breathe. So they know where you are at night, even if they don't have very great vision. And mosquitoes carry things like malaria and other tropical diseases where Sultan is currently living. Okay, so that was the two things I wanted to address. Number one, I think I didn't set the goal correctly. So it looks like we've already raised a ton of money, but all of this, or let's say 90% of it was 13 months ago. So I would like to reach this goal by Christmas if possible. So if you can donate $1, $5, $10, $20, I personally will be donating 100 because Sultan is one of my friends. I wish I could do more, but personally, I literally right now have 4 jobs. I'm an English teacher. I am an English teacher. I am also an English teacher. And so 3 English teaching jobs, as well as a test giving job. So where I actually administer English and French tests. So actually I'm English and French teacher, and I'll be starting a new job soon, but none of this even covers me like my rent. So thankfully with my partner, we pay the rent together. Okay, so that is one thing. It's just about the fundraiser. I actually wanted to show some people what the conditions are like at the Kakuma refugee camp. I think a lot of people think refugee camps are not like actually how they are. So this is the Kakuma refugee camp. It is actually one of the world's largest refugee camps. I think it houses up to 400,000 people from different parts of conflict zones. Now, it's very big both in geographical size and as well as the population. There's always these press photos like this, where they make it look really nice, where you have like people wearing masks, sort of, and this kind of place where you can buy food. The reality on the ground is not so good. Okay, so you're in the Sahel, which isn't really the Sahara, but it's not strictly either like a forested area, it's like a savanna. So there are wild animals that easily come in. So people tend to construct fences out of these spiky wooden like acacia bushes. And that's what Sultan has actually done. So he lives in a place like this. So let me see if I can pull up my annotizer. What is that? I don't know if that's what it's called. So basically with your money before, we were able to rebuy some of these panels so that there wouldn't be so much rainwater coming in through the top or animals coming in through the sides. Um, these are actually the walls that most people have. They're literally just sewn together food bags. So you get these bags of for your beans every month, and if you sew them together, if you open up and sew them together, you can actually make a wall. But it's obviously much nicer if you can have corrugated aluminum or iron. So that's one thing to think about. Now, some people in the camp do grow vegetables. This is not something Sultan has done, but the camp situation is not very good. Now, you'll see these pictures that are actually taken probably to promote the camp as a nicer place, but the reality on the ground is much, much harsher. So I'm trying to think, the thing is they wouldn't release the pictures a lot of times, but some of the things that happen that are really bad there, especially if you are a member of the LGBT community, is actually violence against people who are LGBTQ. Last year in May 2021, 2 people were burned alive to death in the camp for being gay men. There are a lot of STD, STIs spread because obviously everybody in the camp is still human and sexual contact is something that happens. And oftentimes it's not necessarily by choice. A lot of the guards actually demand to be like paid in sexual favors, especially by female refugees, but also by male refugees, both of age and below the age of consent. Um, so for example, if you want an apple might cost you a sexual favor. So can you imagine you can literally in a Western country go out and buy an apple, I don't think very many people would exchange sexual favors with a person in power for fruit, but this is something that happens in the camps because people are hungry for more than what they do get. Now, what they do get in the camp is a supply of beans, which provide basic protein and a little bit of carbohydrates, a supply of rice, which obviously provides the carbohydrates, and then some cooking oil. That's all you get. Now, you want to supplement that, obviously, with something different. Fruits and vegetables are luxuries in the camp, although if you can grow something, maybe then you can keep it and cook it yourself. There is a bartering system, but most of the time you have to go into the sort of cafeteria slash convenience store where the prices are relatively high. Now, obviously in Switzerland where I live, everything is really expensive, but you can probably buy 1 kilo of apples here during the season. So in October for like 3 or 4 francs, which is exactly about $3 or $4 right now. So a kilo, it's 2.24 pounds, something like this. It's relatively cheap compared to the salaries here. In the camp, I think I talked about this in the other video with Sultan. The cost of an apple is like half a day's wages for a Kenyan person. So these are not the prices that Kenyan people would have to pay outside of the camp. Obviously, in Kenya, you do not pay $3 or $4 per kilo of apples. Maybe for apples because those don't grow there, but for a local fruit or vegetable, you wouldn't. But in the camp, there are extortionist prices. So I'm like of two minds with this because if you donate money and then I give it to Sultan and he spends it on fruits, in a way it's a luxury item for him, so it's kind of a waste of money. At the same time, how long can you live without fruits and vegetables? You know, you start getting problems with your gums and your teeth. Your gums start to retract when you don't have enough vitamin C, scurvy, you've heard of it. Now, Sultan does not have scurvy because there are some vitamins in the beans, but not as much as you would want. And to me, honestly, one of the things that Sultan really likes is just cold water, and it's really hot in the camps. So having cold water is something really luxurious. But once in a while, I mean, he can do what he wants with the money, but I think he really wants these things that in the camp, yeah, they are considered luxuries. Okay, so thank you for bearing with me. This video was much longer than I had planned to make it, but if you can donate, um, it will be very much appreciated. I wish you all a happy holiday season. It's probably Hanukkah already, I'm not sure, but it's coming up on Christmas after that. And there's a lot of other holidays at the end of the year. Whatever you celebrate in your religion or non-religious way, I hope you have a great one. But take a moment during the holiday season to think about people who have much less. Sultan does not have a family anymore. Sultan does not have a home country to go back to. He can never go back to Yemen because of the civil war and the fact that he was involved in peace movements before the war, which the government considers to be illegal. Um, and a lot of other people, because of the war in Ukraine now, you probably have seen more images because there's more media presence there. But there are 70 million refugees in the world. We can't, obviously, someone like me who has his own problems, mental problems, I can't do much, but if I can do a little, that would be really great. And if you can do a little through me or through another organization, thank you so much. Everybody take care of each other, okay? Love you. Bye.